Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Studies in the Gospel of Mark. My name is Dwaine, and I'm really glad that you're here. So, just about this podcast isn't going to be about polished sermons or predictable Sunday school lessons. It's going to be about slowing down and stepping into the first century world. And it's about letting the Gospel of Mark speak to us in ways that are fresh, challenging, and sometimes even a little, yes, a little unsettling. But let me tell you a little bit about myself first, just so you have some context. For years, I was a pastor. I planted a church and led a congregation and preached week after week. And I walked with people through the ups and downs of life and through the ups and downs of their faith, and sometimes, frankly, the ups and downs of my own faith. But before that, I spent some years in Bible college, and I'm happy for that because it gave me a foundation. It also gave me a wife. We joke about it being a bridal college. But to be honest, it wasn't really there where I learned the most. The real growth came later when I started digging into the original sources for myself. Like when I started looking at scriptures in the eyes of how the first readers would have seen it. When I started taking a look at the history of the church, the histories rather of the church, and started reading some of the original sources, that's where I would say my education really began. When I started being honest with some of the questions that, as an evangelical believer, I had for years, but just brushed them aside. It was through that independent study that I kind of wrestled my own way through and began to see how much of what I'd been taught in at a Sunday school level and even at a Bible college level didn't quite match the depth of Scripture. And that process really hasn't stopped. I mean, I'm still learning, I'm still being surprised, and I'm still being stretched. So I decided to do this podcast, and this podcast is for two types of people. First, it's for those who are new to the Bible, or at least people that have honest questions about the Bible. Maybe they're skeptics. And the second, and they just want to kind of explore. They want to take an honest look at what it has to say. And the second one is for, along that line, along those people, there's lots of people that, they've heard bits and pieces, but you've never really walked through one of the Gospels for yourself. You've never just kind of gone through the Gospels completely through. So the second group of people that I'm trying to reach is for those that who have heard these stories for so long that they really become numb to it. It's kind of like familiarity breeds contempt. It's like you already think you know what the text is about. You already think you know what the text is saying. And so my hope is that as we go through Mark can surprise you once again. And that you'll see Jesus in ways that will really disturb you and maybe shake you awake. But why start with the Gospel of Mark? Well, here's my reasons. Because, first of all, because it's short. And it's quite an undertaking. I went through First Corinthians, and that was quite long. But this is short. Mark is a short gospel. It's raw, it's urgent. And Mark doesn't waste words. He throws us right into the actions. Demons are shrieking, crowds are pressing, religious leaders are plotting. You know, Jesus is on the move. He's confronting, he's healing, he's teaching, he's challenging every assumption along the way. And unlike Matthew or Luke, Mark doesn't smooth out the rough edges. He leaves us with lots of questions. He forces us to wrestle. And that's exactly what I think we need in a culture or a subculture, rather, that's just way too comfortable with Jesus. So here's my invitation to you. If you like, walk with me through this gospel. And we'll go through it passage by passage. We'll be short, so they're nice devotional size. But we're going to pay attention to the details the first hearers would have noticed. cultural, historic, and prophetic implications, and we'll also ask what it means for us today. And along the way, I'm going to share my own journey, the mistakes, the questions, the moments of clarity that keep pulling me back to Jesus. And my hope is that you won't just learn something new, but that you'll encounter him in a way that will change you and transform you in some way. So, this first episode is simply to set the stage, and the next one will dive right into Mark's opening line, the beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Now, that's just one verse, but it's really packed with meaning. And if you want to keep up with each episode, you can also find the written devotionals at the bereanpost.ca. Do me a favor, sign up, and also comment. Let me know any pushback that you might have. And you can keep up there anyways when the new ones, the new blogs and the posts, the podcasts come out. But thanks for joining me for today, and I look forward to walking through the Gospel of Mark with you. And I'm ready to begin this journey. Are you? Let's get started.